Audiobook Academy Biography presents David Geffen. Music and film mogul David Geffen has built a multi-billion-dollar Hollywood empire that includes Geffen Records and DreamWorks. He was born on February 21, 1943, in New York City, and grew up in the same neighborhood as Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who founded DreamWorks Animation with the help of Geffen. There are a number of additional enterprises founded by Geffen, such as DGC and the film company Geffen. Dreamgirls, Little Shop of Horrors, and Cats are just a few of the projects he helped finance. Early years. David Geffen, who was born on February 21, 1943, in Brooklyn, New York, is usually recognized as the richest man in Hollywood. After making his first $1 million at age 25, the self-described kid from Brooklyn has built a multi-billion-dollar Hollywood-based business empire. As a co-founder of DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg, it ensures that he will be shaping the world's entertainment scene into the next century. Because of the thriving Russian population in Brooklyn, his parents were Soviet Jews who had immigrated there. Pattern making was a family profession for Abraham Geffen. Batya, his mother, was a seamstress who had a small business making and selling women's underwear. Entrepreneurial abilities are said to have been instilled in Geffen by his mother at an early age. By reading Louis B. Mayer's biography, Hollywood Raja, Geffen was compelled to pursue a career in the entertainment industry. For him, looking at these moguls and the universe they created was a delightful way to make money, according to an interview with Forbes. In high school, Geffen gained a reputation for his outgoing nature, which would serve him well in the future. By the year 1998, his personal wealth was estimated to be more than $1 billion. Single and openly gay, Geffen lives in a Manhattan apartment and a Malibu Beach property. Despite his love for great art, he is primarily an artist. On the phone, he's said to spend much of his time negotiating transactions and listening to inventive proposals. University of Texas at Austin was not Geffen's first choice for a college education after graduating high school in 1960. He was only able to complete one semester before he was forced to drop out due to low academic performance. Before finding a job as an usher at the CBS TV studio, he worked at a variety of odd jobs in New York City. He had a great time working there. "Well, I'm not talented, what can I do?" I thought as I watched them rehearse TV shows with people like Judy Garland and Red Skelton, he remarked in a Forbes piece. On the CBS show The Reporters, he worked his way up to a receptionist position, but was sacked after suggesting some script changes to the producer. While Geffen was kidding around with the show's casting director, he decided to pursue the notion of becoming an agent. He found the William Morris Talent Agency by flipping through the phone book and calling the number on the biggest ad. It all began with a $55 a week job sorting mail in the mailroom there in 1964, but his aspirations gradually rose. "This is what I'm thinking while I deliver mail to people's desks," he told The New Yorker, "and they're talking on the phone. The best way to get in touch is to use the phone. I'm good at this." Music agent. Geffen began to cultivate contacts with a wide range of musicians. Soon after joining William Morris Talent Agency, he was promoted to the position of junior agent and began managing the career of upcoming singer-songwriter Lauryn Eero. Joni Mitchell, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and Janis Joplin were some of the other up-and-coming artists who contacted him after that. When Geffen and Eero sold their music publishing company in 1969, he made his first $1 million. With Elliot Roberts, a friend from his time at William Morris, Geffen launched Asylum Records in 1970. Geffen developed his flair for detecting new talent and new trends in the entertainment sector while working at Asylum Records. Geffen signed some of the most popular rock and roll acts of the early 1970s, including Linda Ronstadt, Jackson Browne, and the Eagles, on the basis of a single demo tape. In order to maintain the trust he had built up with these artists, Geffen made sure they were treated properly and received assistance on their artistic and career development when they signed with him. A record-breaking deal was struck between Asylum Records and Warner Brothers Records when he sold his label in 1971. Asylum Records merged with Elektra in 1973, but Geffen remained president of the label. Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and the band signed to the new Elektra/Asylum label, which became one of Warner Communications' most profitable subsidiaries, during this phase of his career. Since becoming a major recording company, they were looking for new challenges. When Steve Ross, the head of Warner Communications, asked Geffen to become vice chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures in 1975, he accepted. Geffen jumped at the opportunity to work in the film industry with no prior expertise, but he had only mixed results in his first year. He was frustrated by the corporate decision-making framework and requested a more flexible portfolio. Geffen Records. Geffen returned to the music industry in 1980 after a 4-year semi-retirement that was sparked by a false cancer diagnosis. After receiving financial aid from Warner Brothers, he launched Geffen Records and began acquiring new and veteran artists alike. The Geffen label was home to artists including John Lennon, Elton John, and Donna Summer. It was 2 years later that Warner helped launch the Geffen Film Company anew, with the support of Warner Brothers. Risky Business, the company's first film, was a huge success and made Tom Cruise a household name at the time. This period saw Geffen's expansion into Broadway and off-Broadway theater as well. Such hits like Cats, Little Shop of Horrors and Dreamgirls were all financed by him. In 1984, Geffen signed a new contract with Warner that gave him a 100% ownership in the company. Geffen relied more and more on the opinions of younger executives who were more in sync with the musical tastes of the 1980s, even if he still worked directly with older stars like Neil Young and Cher. A hard rock band from Los Angeles called Guns N' Roses signed in the late 1980s, and their first 2 albums sold over 14 million copies. After a 6-year contract, Geffen sold his recording company to MCA for $6.13 million and $50 million in stock options in March 1990. His first move was to start a record label called DGC, which was designed to attract young and innovative artists. Nirvana, one of DGC's first groups, earned a breakout hit with their 1991 album Nevermind, thanks to the new method. Movie projects. DGC remained a strong influence in the 1990s thanks to the rise of grunge rock. Meanwhile, Geffen's other businesses were performing nearly as well as they had in the first several months. Interview with the Vampire and Beavis and Butt-Head Do America were both produced by his film studio. M. Butterfly and Miss Saigon gained from New York's booming theater scene. Jeffrey Katzenberg and Steven Spielberg co-founded DreamWorks, a film studio and entertainment production company, in 1994. Geffen was first skeptical about returning to the film industry full-time, but the creative prospects were too alluring to ignore. "How could I possibly turn this down?" I mumbled to myself. Los Angeles Magazine was told by Geffen. "My age means that if I don't, I will become tired, sluggish, and bored if I don't do this. When it comes to a train traveling at 300 miles per hour, these guys will keep me on board." Amistad, a 1997 epic film directed by Spielberg, was the studio's first major release. Saving Private Ryan, Ants, and Spin City were among his other notable works. In Dreams and Inc., 2 less successful projects, may have contributed to DreamWorks' difficulties in acquiring financing for its intended new Hollywood studio, Playa Vista, which DreamWorks officials had announced in 1995, according to reports. After more than 60 years, Hollywood's first new studio was abandoned by the production firm in 1999 and it stated that it would focus on its existing operations. Even so, DreamWorks was not going to snub new ideas. With Imagine Entertainment on October 26, 1999, Pop.com was formed, an internet entertainment firm that will offer short films, streaming video, live events and games as well as ongoing programs. Causes and controversy. Geffen has had a huge impact on popular culture as a recording industry and film executive, a position that has also garnered him some significant criticism. Late 1990s high school shooting sprees sparked public outrage, which was linked to the rise in violence depicted in contemporary movies and television shows. In May 1999, when President Clinton asked the entertainment sector to reduce its emphasis on violence, Geffen reacted in kind. "Isn't it time to point the finger at the librarians? Violent novels fill the shelves. Acts to restrict children's exposure to movie violence should not compromise on artistic expression," Geffen said in a phone interview with the New York Times. "You need to talk to psychiatrists before you talk to individuals in the music, entertainment, video games, or even gun control," he stated. The estimated value of Geffen's personal wealth is in the billions of dollars. David Geffen Foundation, a philanthropic foundation dedicated to his favorite causes, receives a large portion of his annual pay. In the 1980s, he publicly acknowledged his homosexuality, and he has been a staunch supporter of AIDS research ever since. In addition to his monetary support, Geffen has been a relentless advocate in Washington for AIDS research funding and LGBT rights. President Clinton's attitude on gays in the military prompted him to take up full-page newspaper ads to express his displeasure with his administration. To show his continued support for Democratic politicians, Geffen hosted an event in 1999 which raised roughly $1.5 million for Democratic congressional candidates. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.